Look, listen, guys, I understand everybody wants a Hellcat, right? Or at the very least, a Hellcat engine in their car. I get that. And I understand that there are legitimate ways of doing things, but this right here is not. Operation Hellcat Mike. The department learned that Hellcat Mike and other mechanics would steal V8 powered Dodges, yank their engines and other components, and swap them into lesser Mopar vehicles, then sell them on Facebook Marketplace. Guys, listen. You see an engine that you want, pay $10,000 for it. You have no idea where it comes from, who yanked it out, whose car it was in at one point. Come to find out it's stolen. Now you're a part of a bigger investigation. The engine's got to come out of the car and you're out of $10,000, $15,000. That happens more than you think. I understand people want Hellcat engines, guys, but there's got to be a better way of doing it. Okay, swapping may not be your best option. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video for you guys. You can tell I'm in the house. That makes this a house vlog. My Hellcat is still in the shop, still getting work done. Trust me when I say, when it comes out, you'll see why it's been in the shop so long. Trust me when I say. But car content, car shows, car reviews, car mates, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around because you're in the right place. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. Go ahead and record my screen here so that you guys can see what's going on. Boom, Hellcat Mike charged with stealing Dodge V8s for engine swaps. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of Hellcat Mike. I'm not sure who this individual is. I'm assuming he does something with Hellcats, given the name. A lot of you guys have been sending me this in the DMs. Long story short, let's see here. As it turns out, he earned that name by stealing Hellcats and swapping their motors into cars of paying customers. He and 3 other men were booked on various charges, including engaging in organized crime and theft of a vehicle in San Antonio, Texas. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office finally booked the crew after a year-long investigation, internally known as Operation Hellcat Mike. So that lets you know they were watching him. They had a complete operation dedicated to him, and it was just a matter of time before they cracked down on him. The department learned that Hellcat Mike and several other mechanics would steal V8 powered Dodges, yank their engines and other components, and swap them into lesser Mopar vehicles. We've seen this oftentimes, have we not? We've seen Chrysler 300's with Hellcat engines in them. We've seen Scat Pack Chargers with Hellcat engines in them, right? With Scat Pack emblems on the outside. We've seen old school body V8, Chargers and Challengers and 300's with Hellcat motors in them. Would yank their engines and other components and swap them into lesser Mopar vehicles, then sell them on Facebook Marketplace. I just posted something the other day, and if I still got the picture, I'll post it right now. They were selling a Hellcat engine for, let me see here. I know I have it. I know I have it in my phone. 2018 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi, and they're selling it for $5,200. And that's on Facebook Marketplace. The guy that's working on my car right now, shout out to Tunes Car Stereo, he was the one that put me onto that. 2018 Dodge Charger Hellcat motor. So Facebook Marketplace is selling this thing for $5,200. Any other website, that's a 6.4, $17,000. $22,000, that's for a red eye. $26,000, $13,000 at the cheapest, $10,000. So we go from $22,000, $17,000, $13,000, $10,000 to $5,200 on Facebook Marketplace. You already know what the deal is. Now, what a lot of these guys will do is they'll find a Hellcat engine on Facebook Marketplace, sold for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. Take that engine and the components, I'm assuming. I'm not sure if the components come with the engine or if that's something you got to find yourself. And then drop it into a 300 body or drop it into an old school Magnum. I've seen a lot of Magnum Hellcat powered engines. Drop them into a Scat Pack body, Charger or Challenger. And the reason they do this, let's be honest here, is because nobody wants to pay $88,000 for a Hellcat Charger or Challenger. $98,000 for a Hellcat Red Eye Charger or Challenger. I get it, I understand it. So you're trying to cut corners. So what people will do is they'll go out and get a 300 body or old school SRT Charger body that's already been paid off, yank that 6.1 out, yank that 5.7 out, if it even has a 5.7, because there have been times where I've seen V6 Chryslers that have Hellcat engines in them. And then drop that Hellcat engine in there for $5,200. And it's one of those things, like, it makes sense on top of it when you think about it, because There's a guy in my DMs right now that did the swap on his 300, right? Dropped the Hellcat 6.2 liter Hellcat engine in his 300, and it's a 300C, which I believe is the 5.7, and it's a 2018 300C, 2019 300C. I don't remember what he said, but long story short, insurance-wise, his insurance company still thinks that he's driving a Chrysler 300C, a 2019 Chrysler 300C, for which he's paying, he said, $57 of monthly insurance. So here you have a $22,000 engine, $25,000 engine, sitting in the body of a V6, at one point capable 300. Your insurance thinks it's just a basic 3.6 liter or 5.7 liter sedan, right? American sedan. That's safe. And they're charging you $57 for insurance, as opposed to me, I'm paying $282 for insurance for my Hellcat. $57, $282. Which one's smarter? You guessed it, the $57. When it comes to registration and insurance renewal and stuff like that at the end of the year, instead of paying the $600 that I'm about to pay for mine, he's going to be paying $137 for a Hellcat Power 300. I can't knock the hustle. If it's done correctly, it's good business. If it's done correctly, it's just smart. I can't knock it. Especially when I look at what I'm paying for my Hellcat that I ordered, and my insurance company knows it's a Hellcat, compared to him swapping it in a 300, paying $57 a month for insurance, and then a little over 130, maybe $200 a year for registration and all that stuff. I can't knock it. But guys, one thing you got to be mindful of is you got to think about it. Who in the hell buys a Hellcat engine or a Hellcat Charger, Challenger 300, not 300, Hellcat Charger, Challenger, Trackhawk, Ram, what else did they put the Hellcat in? I think that's it off the top of my head. Durango. Who buys those cars? $88, $90, $100,000. And the first thing that comes to their mind is, you know what I want to do? I want to take my engine out and sell it. Nobody's thinking that. Nobody's thinking of taking a Hellcat motor, a 392 motor out of a Charger, a Challenger, a Durango, or a Trackhawk, and saying, oh, I want to sell it on Facebook Marketplace for $5,280. You know what time it is. There is a strong possibility, and I'm not saying this is the case with all swaps, because you can get a lot of swaps from eBay. You can go to the Mopar website right now, go to the direct connection and buy a 6.2 liter, a 6.4, even a Demon engine, a crate, right? They call them crate engines. You can go and buy them legitimately, legally, the whole nine. VIN number, everything matches up. But let's be honest here. $5,200 for a Hellcat motor, you already know what type of time that is. 9 times out of 10, that came out of a Challenger or a Charger that was stolen. And they broke it down. They busted down. You know what I'm saying? And turn that into hundreds of pieces. I can't tell you, my DMs are flooded with Mopar Facebook pages and Instagram pages that are selling Hellcat doors, Hellcat hoods, Hellcat bumpers, Hellcat seats, Hellcat steering wheel. You know what I mean? Hellcat engines, Hellcat rims, Hellcat brakes. It's like, who the fuck buys a Hellcat and sells the doors, takes the doors off and sell them? Like, you know what, man? I really like this Hellcat, but I'm just not feeling this whole door situation. Get rid of all 4 of them. Come on now. You already know what time it is. They want me to repost their pages so that they can get, the clout and the following based off of me, because they come to my page and it's like, oh, he's a Dodge guy, so I'm going to tag him and hopefully I'm not reposting that, bro. Operation Hellcat Mike is about to be Operation Knockout 360. I'm not stupid. No, I'm not reposting your shit. We know what those cars are. Every last one of them stolen. All of those doors stolen. The hood stolen. Rims stolen. Brakes stolen. Hellcat engine stolen. Seats stolen. No, I'm not reposting your shit. So guys, what I'm saying is, what it comes down to is, listen, I'm not knocking the hustle. I'm not knocking swapping. It makes perfect sense. $57 a month for insurance as opposed to what I'm paying, $282, makes perfect sense. $200 or $300 a year for insurance and registration and renewal and all that shit, as opposed to what I'm about to pay $660 for my Hellcat. It makes sense. I'm not knocking it. If you can do it and you can do it correctly, do it. I'm cool with it. I love seeing swaps. I love seeing 300 Hellcats. I've seen some crazy shit. I just saw a BMW with a Hellcat in it. You know what I'm saying? I saw a Mustang with the Hellcat engine in it. I'm not knocking the hustle. But guys, if you're going to do it correctly. I have at least 2 or 3 guys in my inbox right now, my DM right now, that have swaps, and they don't know where that engine came from, which you and I both know means it's probably stolen. You paid $6,000 for a $22,000 engine, it's probably stolen, and they just wanted to make a quick flip. Once again, I'm not knocking it. It's none of my business. I don't engage in swaps. I don't do swaps. I don't have a Charger swapped or a Challenger swapped or a 300 swap. It's none of my business. You guys do what you do, how you do it. But if you're not doing it well, you're going to end up on one of my videos getting arrested for stealing Hellcats and stealing parts and shit like that. I don't know this guy at all. I've never heard of him. I'm sure he's doing big business in San Antonio, or was doing big business in San Antonio. But apparently this was big news because this was all over my timeline. Hella people was DMing me about this. They wanted me to do a video on it, Operation Hellcat Mike. Like, you know that, shit's bad when they name a whole operation after you. If you ever see Operation Knockout 360, just know, like, your boy's done. I'm cooked. Nah, but I mean, like, this is what it is. Like, the people were stealing. Okay, so I've seen a bunch of these too. I've seen a bunch of 300 Hellcats with these big ass Hellcat stickers on the side of them. Big ass Trackhawk. I've seen all this shit. You know what I mean? SRT Jeeps that have Hellcat swaps in them. Jeep Wranglers with Hellcat swaps in them. Big ass Hellcat emblem on the side of them. I've seen that a lot myself. You know what I'm saying? And apparently this guy, that's what he does. He steals them, swaps them, and then sells them. And then here you are paying $10,000, $15,000 for a Hellcat Swap 300, thinking that you're getting a steal of a lifetime, when in actuality, it really is a steal. It's stolen. And the police are going to trace that back to you. They're going to see that you did business with this guy. They're going to take that car back, and you're not getting your money back. That $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in cash, because it's always cash. Nobody's doing PayPal, right? We don't want to leave a breadcrumbs. We don't want to leave a trail. Digital footprint, right? Everything's in cash. You're not getting that cash back. You know what I mean? I did a video on a guy that bought an SRT Jeep years ago, and turns out it was stolen. And when he took it down to the local, I guess, Department of Motor Vehicles to get it registered and get a license plate, oh, they was like, oh, this is stolen. This is reported stolen 2 days ago. The thief that sold him that Jeep was so quick with it that he was able to mask the fact that the car was stolen. And the dude ran a VIN check on it, and the VIN checked out, but that was only because the owner hadn't reported it stolen yet. And then, long story short, the police seized the car. He lost his money. I think he paid $16,000 for it in cash, or $26,000, something like that. But guys, listen, if you're going to go this route, swapping it, I'm not knocking it. I'm not hating on it. Do what you do, how you do it, Just make sure that wherever you're getting the engine from is legitimate. Or if it's not legitimate, be good at it. Be good at keeping that shit on the low, Be smart about it. But this is the type of, like, police are watching. They're watching your Instagram page. They're watching your YouTube channel. I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department knows everything that's possible to know about my Hellcat. VIN number, horsepower, gasoline, the size of my tires, the size of my brakes. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they've gone through every post, every reel, and just looked at it and said, does that match anything that we have stolen right now? That looks like reported stolen Hellcat. I'm sure they have. And I don't blame them for it, because that's how they find a lot of people's cars, because there's two sides of it. You can laugh and joke about the guy that stole it, that's got a stolen Hellcat. But it's also sad for the owner that actually paid for it and his shit got stolen too, So there's two sides to every coin. But yeah, guys, if this is what you're doing, swapping Chargers and Challengers, just be smart about it, because, they are getting stolen. You know what I'm saying? A red flag was waved. Law enforcement was watching a shop, just what I told you, which is located in San Antonio's north side, when they pulled over a Chrysler 300 exiting the property. So the 300 with the Hellcat was leaving the property. They pulled it over. The red flag waved frantically when the 300's VIN sticker didn't match with the onboard computer showed, which was a $124,000 Charger. So the VIN matched up to a $124,000 Charger, which is wild that you paid that for a Charger. But whatever. The VIN matched up to that, but it's sitting in the 300. The VIN numbers don't match up. And I've already seen some police officers that when they pull you over, specifically with Hellcats, Chargers and Challengers, 300s, T-Rexes, Durangos, they want to go the extra mile, and they want to look at the VIN number and make sure that it's not been reported stolen. Right now, as far as the VIN number on the engine is concerned, I think there is a VIN number on the engine, but I think it's like on the underside of the body or something. You would need some sort of special tool to get that VIN number. But if they really believe that you have stolen this shit, they will find it. You know, somehow or another, they will find it. And that's a perfect example. They pull you over. They suspect you of doing something. They run the VIN number. The VIN number on the engine doesn't match up with the VIN number on the car itself. It's stolen. And that's how they get you guys. So listen, just be careful out there. Once again, I'm not knocking it. Oh, look at his prices. Full Hellcat swap, 707, 29,000. Full red eye swap, 797, 39,000. So 10,000 more for extra 90 horsepower. Full scat pack price. Okay, you scat pack guys get a discount. $15,000. All swaps include brakes, suspensions, transmission, engine seats, dash, optional cluster steering. So for $40,000, you can have a red eye 300. Let that sink in. Now, normally red eyes are going to run you $90, $95, $100,000. I've seen 120. But your boys got you for $39,000. So, I mean, come on now. If it's too good to be true, 9 times out it is, man. $750,000 bond. They'll probably make that because, you know, you work with a bail bondsman and they do 10% of that. So you might be straight. But just be careful, guys. Like, the cheap route isn't always the best route, right? Spinny Boy Knockout 360. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. Peace.